it was because he was known to be a Zoo player for a long time, and then he said mixing it up and bringing Handlock to Blizzcon was a good change-up for his opponents, and that's what surprised people in the round of 16. And not to mention, he's shown proficiency playing Handlock, even though he's known primarily for Zoo.
And that's a fantastic strategy. If you're known as a player who's mostly running Zoo and you bring a different deck to the tournament, your opponents will just unconsciously assume that you're running a different deck. So that's why he got an advantage during the round of 16 as well, and he was able to advance. Because sometimes people just, well, if you don't know what kind of Warlock are you facing, you can make a huge mistake when trying to mulligan against it.
Yeah, right. I think the so right now with the starting hands, they both have pretty good starting hands, especially with the Hellfire on Tiddler's side. This Mana Tide Totem is going to create a little bit of problem though, as he doesn't really have an effective way of playing it right now.
Well, not for now, but still, he has a Mountain Giant, Twilight Drake, a second Hellfire. That's a lot of burn.
Yeah, and AoE to deal with classes like the Shaman. And that is an important card for Kranich to pick up early. You might not feel like it right now, but Shaman in this matchup is about putting a little bit of damage and pressure on board, but somewhere in the middle, they try to find a way to kill Handlock because they realize they're going to get overrun the longer the game goes.
Oh yeah, Doomhammer definitely gives a big burst amount of damage. We know that Handlocks, you know, work really well when they're low amounts of health with Molten Giants. So that is definitely a very good draw you want to see early on.
Overall, I really like Kranich's hand. He has a couple of sticky minions like Harvest Golem and Haunted Reaper. He has this weapon. He has Feral Spirit, so possibly he can overextend here a bit. And even if the board is clear, he has a follow-up with some other minions. And Shaman really wants to have as big board as possible. Use cards like Flame Tomb Totem and just deal as much damage there as possible.
Well, Kranich also has removal, which is really important to have too, the Hex to line up against the Giants, but he doesn't have something to deal with the Twilight Drakes. And this is a question that often comes down to these interesting and important turns. Are you playing the Drake? Are you playing the Giant instead? Like, what's the dynamic here, Maz?
Usually, if you are the Handlock going into the Shaman, you want to play your Giants, because there is only one response. If you play the Twilight Drake, it dies to Hex and Earthshock. So yeah, usually you just, you know, put it all in and just do a Giant.
Also, it's better if you play a Giant because Giant costs only 3 points of mana, and if they have to Hex, they have to use almost the whole turn. And if there's a Twilight Drake into Earthshock, they only use 1 point of mana and they play something, so they go ahead on the board.
Yeah, that's definitely very true.
Well, Kranich hesitated and thought a little bit, but Hex on the Giant is pretty much what you want. And as much as yesterday we saw the flashiness of Taray planning a 2 or 3 turn lethal with Doomhammer on turn 5, I don't think he was in a position to necessarily need to do that. Like, Kranich didn't have to because it wasn't his last option. Versus Taray, yesterday when we saw him do that, he was forced to because he had no other alternative.
Right. Kranich also has a lot of bursts in his hand, so he can steadily increase his advantage.
I have no time.
Sylvanas, it's a good choice from Tiddler. He wants to get back on board. He wants to well, put a threat that will be able to get him back into the game. But this is getting really dangerous. This is the turn when Lotheb is a super dangerous card.
And even Lotheb is being dangerous. We can see that Kranich is actually 3 damage off killing his opponent. He has the Doomhammer and Rockbiter. So we can see that, you know, for Tiddler, it's a very bad spot to be in. Like, if Kranich just draws some direct damage, another Rockbiter or like a Lightning Bolt or something like that, this game would be over pretty soon.
Yeah, but even if normally you would think it's good to go for face and just leave your opponent at 3 points of damage, you don't have the burst to follow up if he has Molten Giants and a Taunt Giver. So that's why Kranich is thinking about his next move. He wants to seal the hand of Tiddler. He wants to avoid any kind of AoE clear to position himself to win the game next turn.
So holding on to this last attack puts him at 14, and then his opponent has 7 mana, so he wouldn't be able to play Defender of Argus with the Molten Giant if he had it.
Right. So hedging his bets, kind of.
Yes. But, I mean, Tiddler doesn't have to play spells. In fact, he only has 1 spell in his entire hand. Everything else is minions. And he can set up a pretty decent wall of taunts. And I like that he also activates the taunt off of his Sylvanas, because that's already a target where you want to use Earthshock or Hex anyways. Don't give it a chance for it to have double.
Oh, a lightning bolt. So if he will actually go for face last turn, he will finish it with this lightning bolt.
He would have, but you know, Molten Giants are pretty scary, with especially Earthen Ring Farseer. But here, that's a lot of damage.
You probably want to use the lightning storm, but do you taunt him up first?
Well,
you can use your mana more effectively.
do we actually have lethal here if he rolls a spell power totem? Oh, probably not. Yeah,
No,
you can use
because he doesn't
Doomhammer,
have
yeah.
enough mana to use Duke Hammer after
Right.
that. But he does get okay rolls across the board.
Rolls
I
are fine.
I think a high roll on the Ancient Watcher is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it was very important there.
Yeah.
Well, he could use a lightning bolt, but still, it's better
Like,
to use it
doesn't
1 minute.
kill off the Farseer, but eh.
I think you want to save the lightning bolt for the face. Another 3 damage potential. It's pretty crazy. He doesn't want to hit 5 for the face because, you know, it will enable Molten Giants. You really don't want that to happen because you already burned through 2 hexes, and the only way to get through the taunts are Earthshock.
Well, the good thing for Tiddler is he still got taunts ready to go, and of course he does have AoE with Hellfire and Shadow Flame. So by all means, he does have the tools to deal with Shaman. It just gets scarier because even a Sludge Belcher isn't guaranteed to protect you for too long because your opponent might have Earthshock to get past it.
It's very good that he actually healed himself because if there's an Earthshock, he's not dead to the Doomhammer, Earthshock, and a Rogue Biter.
Yeah.
There would be enough mana though. So what do you do here? I guess you clear the board again and just try to exhaust the resources of Warlock.
How long
Not
are you going to
be-
hold on to this Doomhammer? Is it just a surprise element kill, or do you? I mean, can we get the damage out starting now to start whacking away and impact the board?
Yeah, you definitely want to save it for a surprise in a sense, but if you feel like you can't win the long game, then you do have to utilize its combined damage. I mean, it does do crazy amount, 16 damage for like a 7 mana card with the overload, of course. That's pretty crazy, so you might be thinking that.
So Kranich is deciding to clear the board and position himself to win next turn. He will be able to deal a lot of damage. Probably won this. How much is this? 10?
Well, Hellfire has something
Yeah.
to say about this before Kranich's board can do anything to him.
And this Shadow Flame is going to be so useful because the more board clears you have against Shaman, the more cards they lose. And sooner or later, they're just going to have no more cards, and you can just overwhelm them with taunts so that, you know, Doomhammer doesn't hit your face and just win that way.
Although, if Kranich picks up his second Rock Fighter, it won't really matter because Tiddler will just die straight up to attack. So all this killing could be for naught.
Oh, but he is overloaded for
Oh,
quite a
I didn't
bit.
see the
so
3
that's-
mana overload. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tiddler is aware of that.
Well, being Kranich, after seeing double Hellfire, do you just build up the board again?
Oh man, if he does, this Shadow Flame is going to be so deadly with the Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, this is actually looking good for Tiddler. I mean, he has the clear, he has the taunt giver, so it seems like he survived. He even has the heal. If Kranich is just going to go for face and deal some points of damage, then we will see Lord Jiraxis just healing Tiddler there.
It's interesting to see if Kranich is going to attack here. He might make the read that, because my opponent is healing himself really frantically, that he doesn't have Molten Giants.
Right.
And he doesn't make that read, so that's pretty good.
Big Game Hunter is not really that useful against Shaman whatsoever. The only case you can is Flame Tongue Totem on Violet Elemental. So you can use this Big Game Hunter for Shadow Flame for the following turns. I mean, this Ancient Watcher is often its best card because how cheap it is.
Yep.
But BJ still has some utility, even though it doesn't have a direct target to kill.
Also, what just happened is super important for T.Celestial because yeah, I wanted to mention Earthshock. Like, he played one Twilight Drake and it didn't meet Earthshock. So that's why he knows that there is no Earthshock and he can play a second one. But the Earthshock did come.
Yeah, but the Earthshock is kind of a double whammy because if, you know that the Handlock deck has like a lot of taunt givers, right? So if you do use an Earthshock to kill one of these Drakes, there's going to be more taunts that come in, and you can't just use the Doomhammer to kill your opponent anymore.
Yeah, but then again, Earthshock is clearing only one taunt. And taunt givers are just giving the taunt to both minions.
How much time do you... Because again, this Doomhammer can represent damage that you're putting your opponent on the clock. How much time do you have before you feel like you have no choice to develop it? Do you feel like instead playing passive with Earthshock and just waiting is okay? Or I mean, I feel like the Doomhammer in this spot is all right because you have to start doing something. You can't just let the handlock seize the board.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if handlocks are playing like Jiraxis or Alexstrasza to reset their health. You need to like get them ready. So he does go in and sets up for a possible lethal next turn. In his eyes.
Well, if he gets another Earthshock off the top, he's going to win the game right there, unless we are going to see Jiraxis.
Oh, I mean, there's a likelihood, although there's not many cards
Oh, wow.
in his hand. Like Jiraxis, you come out, usually you want to have a decent hand with it.
Yep.
But that hand's looking pretty feeble by my count.
And a decent board. You don't want them to, you know,
That's
once
true.
you drop Jiraxis, you just die. That would be terrible. But man, these taunts.
That is going to be problematic. Both hexes are used, and one Earthshock has been exhausted.
Flametongue Totem is a blank because there is no board for Kranich. So it seems like Kranich ran out of steam.
Yeah, Tiddler with his 3 board clears, 2 Hellfires and 1 Shadow Flame just really stops Shamans in his tracks. They
Kranich-
really do need the early board game pressure to push the damage and then finish them off like first.
He did use double hex. He did use 1 Earthshock,
Right.
1 Lightning Storm. What is left to go for this board? I mean, the Sludge Belcher is a 4/6, the Wolf Spawn at 1 to John,
Oh man.
and you can't even deal with this board right now.
Yeah, the Earthshock on the Twilight Drake, because of this, you can say is a little short-sighted, because now he could have used it on a target
Right,
or
exactly.
the Twilight Drake. Only one of them could have been taunted, and he would have taken a little bit more damage.
Like, just pretend that he did top deck another Earthshock, he would have won by now. So even though the Earthshock did remove a Twilight Drake, it might not be a game-winning play because the taunt givers are always going to taunt up 2 things. In a hand.
Values is a cruel mistress, right? Sometimes you try to appease her, and you end up paying the ultimate price. Don't know how Kranich can pull out of this one if he doesn't draw the answer soon, because there is a lot of damage staring the opposite direction.
So what he can do is just play the Flametongue and I guess taunt. Yeah, you have to have a board. Something to stop, to give yourself a couple of more turns to maybe draw a Lightning Storm to be able to clear this at some point.
Oh man, we're probably gonna see a Jiraxis here to just push himself out of that, burst range of like,
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Gain
Crazy
5
spells.
life, equip a 3/8 weapon, and then
That's
an
pretty good
insane
for
hero
9 mana.
Well, there is a risk of Harrison Jones.
That is true.
Yeah,
And we've
you're
seen
right.
it a few times, but I think it's time for Jiraxis to come out and make a big impact on the game, because he can now clear the board with his weapon and start putting out big infernal creatures that, honestly, Kranich can't deal with whatsoever.
Enter the Erdar Lord.
The what, Lord?
The Erdar. Wow. You need to read us on some lore for them.
I do. That's one of the things I'm gonna do. Study up on everything in the Warcraft lore. I'll probably a few of those books.
I can coach you in that if you want.
Thank you. I know you charge like 100 an hour, right? So.
For lore coaching.
Wow, it's pretty expensive.
Oh, that is so painful. You have to use Rockfire to clear, but I think that is your best way to not die from this point on.
Fire Elemental might want to hit the slime as well.
Oh, that's an interesting point. 'Cause
Yeah.
you want to get past that taunt.
You want to just push for as much damage as you can.
Right.
You know what? It doesn't look that bad.
Ooh, Mortal Core is a good card.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can kill the
Draw a
totem
card.
and draw a card. But still, he is short on killing. He needs to develop the board, but
Yeah,
he's
not
cards in
quite.
hand. Oh, faceless.
Oh.
Oh, this is a
I
great
mean,
card.
that's not bad.
I
You
mean,
put
that's a
out
6/6, right? Ooh, he does. Oh,
I mean,
he should
that's-
copy his own Inferno, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah, okay.
strictly worse, but a little bit more flashy.
Okay, a style points.
Yes. If this was, that snowboarding game that judges you based off every jump that you get every 2 seconds, that would have been a plus 1,000 points.
Okay.
Instead of like the plus 50 that you normally get.
But wow, so close to killing your opponent, right? You have.
Just one more Rogue Biter.
Oh, man, if he did kill off that 1/2 slime,
It would have been
it
lethal,
would have
huh?
it would have been a chance.
Yeah,
for
because of the
lethal.
spell power
The
totem.
spell power
Yeah,
totem.
Yeah. And your opponent would have been able to use Mortal Coil as well.
It's all these like small 1% plays that might make the difference and might not.
Yeah.
If this is spell power totem,
No.
it's not.
And sometimes you would think that, you know, a 3 damage battle cry would like to kill a 3 damage creature.
Right.
But there's a lot of instances where you have to adapt.
There's a lot of instances, many times you do a reflex play. Like, I think that seems the most correct. But still, it was very close for Kranich to steal the game. But T.Celestial is going to advance.
Yep.
And
Oh, you slammed that mountain giant down. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? T.Celestial is going to be able to kill his opponent with a faceless manipulator Cloud Elemental. And that's a nice way to start off the series for Tiddler. A good boost of confidence.
I mean,
yes, sir.
Tiddler played really well. He kept his cool. He didn't, you know,
Yep.
get scared of like the board. He didn't throw out a Farseer when he did had to in turn 3, and he just, you know, kept on wiping the Shaman's board. Even going down to as low as 10 health with a Doomhammer equipped, right? So I think pretty well played by Tiddler there.
yeah, this is how you play Endlog. I mean, it's not a very easy deck to play. You have a lot of choices, a lot of cards that you have to choose from. And you have to be very patient. It seems like you're dying because your opponent is attacking you, like overextending, building up the board. But you just have to be calm and clear, develop the minions, and then start attacking at some point. Like, he was out of cards almost when he played Jiraxxus. He had like one.
Your soul shall be mine.
All right, let's look at the mulligans. Tiddler gets the coin. Amas, do you like having a coin as a handlock?
Having the coin is good because you are a bit more versatile. You can always coin tap if your hand is really bad. Because especially in this matchup, you really want to find those Twilight Drakes and Giants so that, you know, you make the warrior run out of removal spells, such as Execute and Shield Slam, and when they do, they have nothing else.
A full keep here from Kranich. He chose to keep the Death Spite. Now, Maz, talk to me a little bit about this because I've seen you play a lot of Warrior recently.
Yeah, keeping Death Spite is definitely pretty interesting because, of course, the second hit enables stuff like Execute. But it's quite weird. I mean, I personally wouldn't have kept it and would have fished for something else. But of course, the danger of the Control Warrior is that you have so many legendaries and so much high-end cards that if you mulligan into something like an Alexstrasza, you can't use it for 9 turns. And, you know, the Death Spite does give an extra option for versatility.
I'll say it's Acolytes of Pain, and in this matchup, having a card game is very important. You want to draw as many cards as possible because you want to get executes, you want to get shield slam, you want to get shield blocks. It's very tricky from the warrior's perspective. You can be very aggressive, and that's also one of the ways to win. Just force your opponent to play Molten Giants. Just deal as much damage as possible so they play the Molten Giants, and then you brawl and destroy the board. So that's one of the strategies. Another one is just draw as much as possible and try to execute whatever you can.
I've also seen some people choose not to play Armor Smith on turn 2 and armor up because they have Shield Slam in hand and they want to be able to pave the way to answer a big threat. In fact, no armor up whatsoever. I mean, this is, of course, a way Kranich can take the board a little bit earlier on and get those draws with Acolyte.
All right.
But talk a little bit about this line of play here, Mas.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think he's going with kind of what Nimsh said, you know, the more aggressive play, because usually this matchup is about the Warlock being aggressive, putting down these big minions, and then Warrior has to like wait until they draw into like the turn 10 combo with Grommash before the game ends, right?
Well,
but yeah, it's interesting the strategy and the way of thinking Kranich is taking this.
By the way, I think we are forgetting that Kranich is playing a totally different warrior deck.
Right, that was exactly
the inner rage when it comes
point
out, right? Yeah.
The inner is just like a reminder.
Reminder when he played against Collector, right?
Absolutely. I think when you're playing a combo deck, you have to be a little bit more oriented about getting those card draws. The removal is there to assist you for the kill. Remember, this is not full-out control warrior, and Tiddler knows that too, so he says, I'm just going to spend my time making sure to deny that card draw as much as possible. Don't give him a chance to draw more than one card, if any at all.
I wonder how Kranich will play out this matchup because his warrior is so different. I think he actually has an advantage. He has the silence, he has the same removal that the normal control warrior has, and he has a much more burst with the combos. That's why Acolyte of Pain is so important. He needs to accumulate all the combo cards and removal cards at the same time and be able to win in one turn. Alright, so being Lothar is a good card.
Lothar is pretty good against Sludge Belcher. Sludge Belcher is usually the only play you can do when your opponent Lothars you at turn 5.
Yeah, playing your own Lothab in response is also weak, considering he has the weapon up, so he could easily clear it, and you'd be in a bad spot after that, taking a lot of damage. And again, Tiddler recognizes he doesn't want to give his opponent any leeway to be able to kill him off. If he was holding Raging Worgen with charge, that's only 6 mana. And we saw what happened. You can use with Inner Rage. That's 16 damage right there.
Well, right now, Kranich will be abusing Acolyte of Pain, trying to draw as many cards as possible.
To me.
Just attack Lothar, attack into Sludge Belcher, draw a card, see what you get.
Right.
Unfortunately, Armor Smith is not doing much. I mean, he will get armor there, but Armor Smith will die first.
Right, but at least you gain 3 armor. It looks like.
Yeah,
See what he picks up off the Acolyte.
Armor's always good in this matchup because he even has a shield stamp, so he has this removal card for it.
And still no Giants or Twilight Drakes for
Yeah,
over here.
this is quite unfortunate.
Oh, there you go. That's something.
Wow.
Could be a bit too late though. I mean, the armor has been stacked up, and there already has been a lot of board development on the Warrior side. He already cycled a lot of cards.
Yeah, and you know, this threat can be easily handled to the point where, I mean, Kranich is still drawing deeper into his deck. That's the big objective here.
Well, he doesn't even have to shield block here. He can attack with the Acolyte, see what he draws, then armor up and shield slam. But shield block, shield slam is fine as well.
Oh,
He wants to save this Inner Rage, right? Like, he's not going to use it to draw cards.
right. It's like this Worgen activator for the full-fledged combo that we saw. That he used against Coletto. Yeah.
Well, Tiddler's still looking for another threat of some kind. I think he's going to try to tuck the Lotheb as well, and maybe have it as an opportunity to push against the Warrior without his opponent being able to get a last-ditch effort to kill him. So that Lotheb might be the key to this game for Tiddler.
Amos, can you tell me who has the advantage here if the game goes longer?
Right now, it's looking like we're swinging back to the Warlock's favor because, you know, he does have more minions. He's going to continue putting down stuff. But as soon as Tiddler overextends, we do see a brawl that might change things around again. So I think this brawl is going to be the key to Kranich winning this match.
There's the brawl that Coletto was playing around for a long time yesterday. But that brawl was not in the hand of Kranich, so at least we do have confirmation. Probably Coletto can sleep a little bit easier tonight.
All right, a Hellfire. Is there any merit in playing Hellfire right now?
Yeah, this is a pretty hard turn, so he does tap into a Giant. No, that's something to play. That's good.
It got much easier.
Yeah, it did, definitely. But the decision to tap is definitely not the easiest.
This Armor Smith is so annoying. Armor Smith with Sludge Birch is such a fantastic combination of cards.
Man.
Yeah, oftentimes it takes 2-3 attacks to kill off the Sludge Belcher, regaining 3 armor in the process, and then killing Armor Smith is also gaining life.
Yep.
That synergy is quite ridiculous.
I just love Sludge Belcher as a card. It's a fantastic addition in the adventure mode.
Oh wow, he feels threatened already and using a Sunfury on the Giant. That's surprising.
Well, he knows his opponent has the possibility of owling his Sludge Belcher and pushing through, and he feels like 19 health is nothing to scoff at with 3 damage on board.
Yep.
So it's actually the exact play around the combo that his opponent had, that 16 damage Raging Worgen combo, which Kranich is only missing 1 card for it. So it was actually the correct play by all means.
It is pretty scary how much Worgen, the Worgen damage can do.
Is there any merit in brawling here? Or can you deal with his board without brawling?
I think he might want to bait the brawl right at this point. Because as we know, if Tiddler plays Lothar, he can still brawl. But wow, it's just going right for it.
Oh man,
right.
Which Sludge might survive too?
And the winner is Sunfury. So you do armor up. Do you play Party Monster or do you just pass?
Pyromancer could be okay.
I mean, it
here.
challenges the board.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's going to be easy to remove by Immortal Coil, so it's reasonable.
Well, T.Celestial is still in the game. He has a lot of cards, and he taps into Twilight Drake.
All right, so he's going to use Lotheb as an opportunity to take back the board right here. I like it.
And he knows that with Lothab on the board and you know, a 1-turn kill or OTK, Warrior can't really kill him right now.
Yes.
So he doesn't need to use Sunfury on his Lothab.
He can use Sunfury next turn because he's safe.
That is so much life for Kranich. He's at 48.
Oh man.
He's got more armor than health.
He might need a second brawl though.
Yeah, I think he actually used his brawl a bit too early.
I mean,
So,
whatever,
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a
whatever
signal.
minion gets hit by this shield slam doesn't know what's coming.
Oh man.
It's gonna be like 20 damage worth of pain.
Because the brawl was being used.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Shield slam, smite it! The
Wow.
force of 1,000
That's okay.
suns. Do
That's
it!
a lot of damage.
Oh, wow, that
Ouch.
Twilight
That
Drake was so
hurts.
valuable. It was a 420.
Wow. Okay.
He could shield
That
slam
happened.
face.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
yeah, you're right.
He could have shield slammed the face.
Oh man. But I mean, looking at this hand, if he draws a Worgen, does like how much damage is that? It's 16 damage, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But you do need to get past it, but you do have the owl.
Oh, copy the
but
Todd. That's
now
really
you need
smart.
to execute that other one. This is just getting more complicated and convoluted. The combo's becoming like 5 or 6 cards now
Yep.
in order to kill your opponent.
This game is so tricky. Is he going to get the... Oh!
Oh.
Wait a minute. Can he deal?
Well, he needs to kill one of these watchers first because he can silence the. While he can silence the other one is just sitting there.
Yeah, and you can't silence, execute, and play Gromosh with the Inner Rage.
That's
Not-
a lot of mana.
Yeah, it's 11 mana, and even so, you're going to be a little bit short of damage.
What about using Gromosh to hit, like, attacking to one of the 4/5s and then finishing it with execute?
That's interesting.
Because you still know you have the Worgen in your deck, so you're just removing the taunts, and you've seen most of the taunt givers already.
Yeah, it's funny that you know, a Grommash is actually worse than a Worgen.
Yeah.
You want the Worgen instead.
It's not the finisher here.
So like Grommash can just be a removal spell.
Not bad. I mean, Tiddler's picking up the big threats as the game develops because it's early on. He didn't have any of those cards. Seems like he's drawing into every big threat to challenge the board and even push back against Kranich to be able to kill him in a couple turns.
Tiddler again is sporting a lot of patience on his side, just slowly dealing damage, positioning himself to win the game.
Oh, that's a good draw. Double 5 drops.
Yeah, but now it's I mean, if that was a Raging Worgen, the game was over.
Oh yeah, it was a 16. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is still a game. Like, do not be fooled, folks. I mean, even though T.Celestial has a very intimidating board and a reasonable amount of health,
Yep.
the Warrior can just end it at any second.
Kranich is just, you know, stalling the game until he draws the game ender.
Right. And he's holding Harrison Jones on the off chance his opponent has that Jiraxis, so to draw into the final pieces of the combo.
Ah.
Well, Sylvanas is not the card that's putting T.Celestial in a better position. He needs to deal with the Sludge Belcher, but still, he doesn't have a way to protect himself against that Worgen.
Yeah. He needs more taunts.
Man, that is
That's
the
not
weirdest thing. You actually want to heal yourself
I have
because
no
you're at
time
14
for
health?
Right.
Like, that's just weird.
All right, well, it still is the same exact scenario where they need to get their Raging Worgen to end the game.
Oh, Black Knight is a nice card to get.
I mean, he was in danger of dying next turn himself, too. His opponent does
Yeah.
have a strong amount of damage on the board.
That's 20 damage on the board. So one Soulfire does kill him if he doesn't under, but he does. But
Yeah,
one Soulfire still kills him
Hellfire.
because of Hellfire, yeah.
Exactly. So now Tiddler's on a draw to win the game.
Soulfire finishes the game.
Oh.
Jiraxis.
Jiraxis.
Doesn't really do it.
But if he plays Jiraxis,
Then he won't have the mana to execute.
well, I'm saying if he plays Jiraxis, then Harrison Jones
Oh, yeah.
ends up drawing a lot of cards. But will it even matter?
Well, the thing is, like, if he plays Harrison, he actually can't do anything else.
Oh! That is pretty nasty.
Wait, that's it.
That's
That's
it.
going to be enough damage to kill him off.
Oh, man.
Let none
Or is
die.
it?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
like it. T.Celestial jumps out to a 2-0 lead.
Very nice
By
there.
fire. Kranich never got that Worgen. But that was
Nice
so
play.
close.
That was really nice.
Just in case, checking his outs to see if Soulfire was the next card that he needed, and it was.
And of course, you didn't want to tap into that position. Right?
Right.
So yeah, very nice.
Discarding his Iron Beguiles to get a Soulfire and win the game.
Tiddler is playing like a god at the moment. He is on point. He's sharp. He's not letting up any weaknesses. I mean, he's counting for situations where it's like, yeah, if you have that 5-card combination, you still can't kill me. So he's playing, like, it's immaculate right now, his Hearthstone play at the moment.
He is a fantastic Warlock player, and I just love Warlock, and I love watching Tiddler playing. At first playing Zoo, the WCA, now playing Handlock. The guy really knows how to apply the power of the horde.
Yeah, I guess so,
We're
right?
still going on that?
Using.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think also is. Let's find out.
Your soul shall suffer.
All right, the mulligan's Kranich gets the coin. So Tiddler. Oh my God, the big hunter.
Big game hunter. Oh, doesn't even want the Twilight Drake. Wow.
Is he searching for a big game hunter as well?
Oh, maybe. It's interesting.
Well, his hand. I liked his hand before. He mulliganed the entire thing away, but if he's searching for a specific card, that's the risk that you take. He gets a little bit more clunky hand, but at least he does have a turn 3 play as well if he's going to be aggressively tapping.
But I mean, Mortal Coil in this matchup is not a dead card at all. There are so many targets, you know?
Right.
Farseer, after you hit with Cypher or targets, Mortal Coil, there's Owls to Mortal Coil.
Or if you silence the Twilight Drake, Mortal
Yeah,
Coil
Mortal
and Twilight
Coil.
Drake.
Exactly.
This
really
this matchup is basically an ultimate test of skill. And in the beginning, you want to have big minions on board, but on the other hand, you can't push an attack that much, because if you put your opponent in the range so that he can play Molten Giants, you can just lose the game right there. But there are also those key cards like Sylvanas, like Shadow Flame. If you just put too many minions on board and they Shadow Flame your board, you just get behind. And also, Kranich is playing Power of the Overwhelming, so he might have a possibility to just burst.
That's right. We see a lot of Hanlocks cutting that card because the Leroy combo is not relevant anymore. But
Right. You used to be able to use Leroy, Power Overwhelming, and Faceless it for 20 damage.
Yeah.
And if you also had Soulfire, it was 24. And ever since that Leroy got bumped to 5 mana, it's no longer possible unless you have the coin. I was going to say there is no way to play it, but I guess if Kranich does have Leroy, he could save that the entire time.
But the card itself is still very relevant. You can use it
Sure.
in conjunction with Power Over, in Shadow Flame to
Right.
form more damage to the board. It's like a third Soulfire in a sense. So it is pretty versatile still.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you have Sylvanas, he does have Sylvanas in his deck, right? So if he just has Sylvanas and you attach Power Overwhelming on it, it'll die at the end of the turn to steal one of your opponent's minions. So there's a lot of synergy across the deck.
And also Iron Big Owl is such an important card
Oh.
to deal with Twilight Drake. Oh, there is one.
Oh, there is one,
Well,
but it's on the other side.
I don't think he's going to owl his own Drake.
Well, you can, but you don't want to
can.
do that.
If you want to make a statement,
I don't want to go to the grand finals.
Wow, that's a bad
I want to go
statement.
play Overwatch. I
Oh,
want to see
man.
goblins and gnomes and not be on stage.
That is a statement. But yeah, Gul'dan versus Gul'dan.
Another hard turn for Kranich here. I mean, you could just put the Sludge Belcher
Right.
and play on curve, but at the same time, your opponent gets to advance on his board as well. You don't have any board clears, so you're kind of worried, oh, what happens if my opponent really overextends? I can't really do anything about it.
You want to contest the board.
How
Oh.
much are you afraid of putting down your own Sludge Belcher to answer your opponent's Sludge Belcher?
Yeah, usually you don't want to do that, especially on a board like this. Activating the Watchers is perfectly fine because if your opponent wants to push through it, they have to use premium removal such as Shadow Flame.
By the way, Lothab, another very important card in this matchup. If your opponent gets low, just play double Molten Giant, Lothab, and then you heal them. They won't be able to clear a board with Shadow
yeah.
Flame.
I'll raise you another scenario. You do that, but then you attach Power Overwhelming and Shadow Flame, the Lothab, and your opponent
I have
loses
no
the entire
time for
board,
games.
and he can't play spells.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
Like Lothab Shadow Flame, really convinced me how good it is in this deck. I mean, you didn't have to convince me Lothab was good already, but
It's
that was
even
just
better.
icing on the cake.
And it's only stressing the fact like that in this matchup, every card matters. How you use your Siphon Soul, how you use your Lothab,
Right.
Power Overwhelming, everything has a meaning. That's why it's such an important match.
This is quite uncomfortable. He doesn't have an easy way to deal with Sylvanas without giving up one of his minions, it looks like.
And you do not want to give your Watchers. Watchers are very, very good in the Hanlock deck. You can always activate them with Silence, you can Shadow Flame them.
Right.
And I mean, you can just sit there with Taunt and it's a pain
Yeah,
to deal
you know,
with.
people open up Watchers in their first packs of Hearthstone. They say, well, what do I use this for? It's got so much synergy with all these Warlock spells like Shadow Flame to clear the board.
He's going for, and
Going for 50-50.
the Watcher is gone.
We know what he took, and that's going to be the Ancient Watcher.
All right, it's a bit of an unlucky RNG right there.
Well, at least that can attack, but for now, that's going to be a target which not only can he not get through, but it's in danger of destroying his board with the Shadow Flame, like we mentioned.
Look at this free drop.
Oh my
And
god.
a free drop, A8, Isn't it a bit too powerful?
No, because isn't there a new giant coming out in Goblins and Gnomes where you can play for 2 mana based off how many cards your opponent holds?
Wow.
That's right.
Touche.
Just watch. You play King Mukla in that card.
I definitely did check the Goblins versus Gnomes.
But it looks like that Tiddler's hand is just so much better.
It
so much more
does.
reactive. There are no molten giants when you're sitting at full health. You know, it's
Yeah,
all playable.
Kranich has 2 Molten Giants that he's going to take a while for him to get to.
And he has Jiraxis as well, right? So
Right, but even his
painful.
post-Jiraxis hand is not that strong. And if you're
very bad.
right,
Yeah.
And also, Kranich still has 30 points of health, so those Molten Giants are not going to...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kranich just wants a spell to deal like 20 damage to his own hero.
yes.
That would be
Well,
a good spell.
if he plays Jiraxis, he is dealing 15 points
Right,
there.
but the maximum health is 15 as well. That's a problem.
So Molten Giants still cost 20.
Yeah.
So, why is Tiddler playing the Sun Fury just on the Ancient Watcher again? He already has Taunt.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wants the extra 2/3 on the board, and he also doesn't want to taunt the Lothar in case there's a Black Knight happening. And I mean, an Ancient Watcher that's taunt already is fine because, you know, the Watcher protects the Lothar, whereas if the Lothar has taunt, then you know, they're both vulnerable.
You think that 2/3 body is really worth putting out? Like, I mean, aren't you saving it for combinations with your Giants or if you pick up Jiraxis and whatnot?
Well, you do have 2, so I guess putting up 1, you know, it could just, it's challenging the Argus already, and you can attack with the 5/5. So it's reasonable. And here we can see that the Sunfury was really good. You can clear the ooze as well. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, this
That's
double-
11
double
damage
score.
from hand
Yeah.
if he was able to stretch it out aggression-wise.
With Argus, that's 13. Possibly 13. Not with the Watcher in the middle.
Do you... are you forced to make a play?
Are you?
I don't think you are.
That is the biggest Watcher I've ever seen.
A 6/7. It's a Boulder Fist Ogre?
Yeah.
Yes.
They forgot how to attack.
Well, you can silence it and then you have a Yeti.
Maybe he's a peaceful Boulder Fist Ogre. Like, he's
Oh.
turned from his violent ways.
Okay.
Guys, there's a giant, so the Big Game
He's
Hunter...
gone through anger management issues.
Oh wow, this
Big Game Hunter
could
is
be a
going to
very
play.
good turn. You could play Giant, power overwhelming the Argus, and actually Shadow Flame the Argus. But then you don't clear the Watcher.
And you
because
lose the
Watcher's-
giant to Big Game Hunter.
Oh yeah, wow.
And you know what also stinks is normally with Power Overwhelming, because it also buffs health, you can usually attack and then trade to get a full clear. But that Agent Watcher is so big that if you use Power Overwhelming, you're still going to lose the Argus if you attack.
Yeah, that is a pretty fat Watcher, so
That
he just decided to
hurts.
Shadow Flame the Giant
Yeah.
instead.
He's playing around the Big Game Hunter.
That's
Oh,
true, he is. And he
yeah.
saw BGH in Tiddler's deck and another a restraint. So Kranich is on point too, making sure to give his opponent as difficult time as possible.
Well, also, if you're dealing with one threat at a time, at some point Warlock won't have the threats anymore.
Yep.
And then he is forced to play Jiraxis. And you can probably deal with the board after Jiraxis is being played.
Oh, now this is a scary hand. There are no taunts. There are no threats that you can put down.
I mean-
Molten Giants can't be played, so...
Are you worried about taking damage though? You do have 2 Molten Giants. And you do have the heal, so
Yeah, but then...
is it reasonable to just play into a creature and then try to let yourself take a few damage points?
Yeah, that's true. But then, you know, as we know, that handlocks have a lot of burst, especially if they're playing Power Overwhelming. I mean, even without playing Power Overwhelming, we see Tiddler has like 11 damage on his hand. So 11 plus 8 is a lot of damage.
Parser is such a tricky play. Like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to develop the board, but you don't want to heal yourself.
You don't want to heal yourself, but at the same time, you might die.
You're aware of what's the implications too, and you're at 24 health. That's so close to the maximum, and yet you're afraid of dying.
Yeah. You're playing with the devil, really. You want to be low, but you don't want to die.
Yeah, I just love this game.
I think the Farseer does.
Oh wow,
keep
doesn't
the
want it.
healing away.
What about
Doesn't
healing
want
your opponents?
We've seen
We
that
saw that
too,
before, yeah.
but
We saw
when he
that.
has a Molten Giant out already, it's, you know, usually you heal to avoid that scenario. But he gets it anyways. I think it has a much lower impact.
Oh, Tiddler is not going to play the Twilight Drake. With so many cards, he's probably thinking that an
Yeah.
Al Morlico is a possibility.
I think both players are just respecting the amount burst that's present in this deck. I mean, look at this hand. If he didn't clear, that was been
Uh-oh.
crazy amounts of damage.
Now it's starting to get really tight because he still doesn't have a way to kill off that
A
Giant.
Siphon Soul would be good, but no.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
He can't clear the Giant.
No.
Can't
Oh, he
clear.
Well,
can.
he
with
double
two Soulfire.
Double Soulfire.
double so fire, but
Oh no, you're gonna lose Jiraxis in the process though.
Right.
As we know.
Well, hold on. If he plays this Giant, Tiddler has the big game Hunter, and then he also has the Hellfire and 2 Soulfires, so he does have the damage to kill him. Potentially, right?
Potentially.
Shield up.
and
Does he go for it?
does he go for a double so far? Hellfire, Big and Hunter.
Does he need it? Oh, he does. He does need to do exactly that.
Okay.
He's
I think he
just
copied
super
that
quick.
first.
Yeah, he's not taking the risk.
It's even
Oh,
better.
he might take the
Oh,
risk
he
now.
might take the risk here.
I mean,
wow.
oh, it's
I mean, it's just a coin flip there to win the game from this point on.
Wait,
How
wait.
can you resist?
But is it weird that he didn't do that first before deciding to do that?
He's not
True,
going
to
for it.
maximize his odds.
Yeah,
He's playing it so safe. He
Yeah.
says, I don't want to lose
He
this
wants
for no
to hold.
reason.
He wants to hold.
Well, he can play it very safe. Like the only card that's winning for his team right now is Shadow Flame, and he's seen one already.
And you're up 2 games. How much resilience does it take to like hold back and not just I'm gonna win right now, right? Oh,
I mean,
man.
that
The
right
patience.
there, the difference between top 4 and $15,000 compared to $50,000 guaranteed is a $35,000 restraint. Like
Yeah.
that takes a
Wow.
lot of discipline. Let me
God.
tell you.
You have like what 10% chance of actually failing, so 90% chance to get 35K right there. Jeez.
Oh, he
there
does
is a
Leroy.
Leroy. There is a
Wow, the
Leroy.
amount of
So
burst.
he has. Does he have a way to clear here?
I don't think so. He needed the Shadow Flame to be able to clear his board.
Oh man. So is this it?
That might be it.
No, I guess you have to
I mean,
siphon
you
soul.
do have just ways to deal with the board.
Yeah, the siphon soul and double soulfire a giant.
Oh man.
But then still, Tiddler can
And that's
Hellfire and double
assuming
Soulfire.
Soulfire, just discard the other Soulfire.
All right, he's
Oh,
going
man.
for it. He has to clear the board in here.
How brutal is this?
All right, well, okay. I mean, Kranich,
This is
I think
tough.
he's calculating if there's any way out. His opponent has 12 damage on board. You have to clear this out.
Or at least
Soulfire
like
There's no
the-
ways around it.
BGH at least. Soulfire the BGH at least. Do it. Do it. All right.
Okay.
Oh, last second. All right. So now you're offered another opportunity to, go for the kill.
It's still a possibility for Taylor to get the kill.
Yeah.
If he's willing to part with his second Soulfire.
It is so funny because it was like you were offered 90%, and now you're being offered like a 70%. You take the 70%.
Well, let's see. If he uses Hellfire, there's 6 cards remaining. And he uses one. That's a 20%
So it's 20%,
chance.
so
20%
80%.
chance to discard.
So 80%, yeah, something like that. But then if you don't take the 80%
I
now,
like those odds, honestly.
it might be even worse later on.
Well, on the other hand, he is in the lead here, so he can just attack and play
true.
Multi-Gen as well.
But at the same time, there's so much burst on the other end.
Oh my god.
He got a Mountain Giant, so he's just going
Wait,
to develop the
wait.
board.
He does have taunt. If Kranich draws Shadow Flame, that would be huge. That would be huge. Does help? No.
No, that's a
He's
Hellfire.
got 17 points of damage.
He's actually
Wow.
1 damage off lethal.
Kranich just 1 damage off
Wow.
lethal.
This is crazy.
Tiddler's patience may have just,
I mean,
blown him in
I
the
don't
face.
think it's
Jeez.
backfired just yet.
Not backfired yet. It's looking okay, but 1 damage. Imagine if he, if he like tapped 1 more time throughout the course of the game, he would have been dead.
And
This game is
Kranich
so
can't,
close.
he can't life tap in Shadow Flame, right, with this Leroy?
No. Unless you draw to another powerful Omen.
Is he forced to play Leroy as a removal card?
Oh, you don't want to do that, do you?
Yeah, but you're dead if you don't.
So Leroy, Hellfire, Soulfire, and
Yeah.
pray that you keep Jiraxis, because
I mean-
Jiraxis is the only thing that.
I mean, your opponent didn't take the risk before. Oh, but he's dead with Hellfire and
Right.
Soulfire.
I mean-
so maybe just the Giant and Soulfire on the Molten.
This is tough. Kranich on the verge of elimination.
Oh, he sees it. He sees it. Very nice.
And discards Hellfire. I mean, honestly, that's not that bad considering he has Leroy Burst. But once again, presented with the chance of killing his
chance.
opponent if he wants to take the chance with the
Yeah.
second Soulfire.
Back up to 1 and 6 again.
He's not taking it again.
He
Tiddler
doesn't want to
Celestial.
take it again.
How safe can you be?
Wow.
Well, I have to tell you, you can be as safe as you want if you're on the road to become the world champion.
That's true.
Yep, he wants to eliminate any possibilities of him throwing away his lead. But I mean, I still don't see a way for Kranich to clear the woods here.
I don't see any way right
His
now.
Leroy and Power Overwhelming are just sitting there, and he has to go for Jiraxis. But that's going to do it, and T.Celestial will go to the Grand Finals with a 3-0 sweep with his hand lock.
That
Wow.
patience really paid off.
He
huh?
is going to use the Soul Fire
crazy.
now, right? Right? Or only
No,
Hellfire?
you use
He uses
Jiraxis to
Hellfire?
kill him.
Oh.
You do it.
You face Jiraxis. Mistake.
Avalon of the Burning Legion.
Nice. Mistake. I love it.
Oh man.
We have ourselves the first finalist for the World Championship, and it is T.Celestial from China.
So
Oh,
well
man.
played. So well played.
Tiddler again in the final of the major tournaments.
Man.
This guy is just amazing.
I am so impressed.
Well played, and lots of respect between these two Asian players. And as much as Tiddler also played well, Kranich gave a performance of a lifetime. Coming all the way from Korea, one more time, the semifinalists from Korea. Give it up for Kranich.
Oh my god, this Morgan deck, he was so short on the killing Tiddler Celestial there, and then again the Warlock Mirror, the handlock with Leroy and having 16 points of damage against 17 points of health, or 17 against 18. I don't even remember, but 1 damage of lethal, 1 damage of advancing to the
Yeah.
final.